He does Lakers talk. He's Lakers pre-post and half. I do have something for Travis Rogers, though. This clip from Super Crosstalk yesterday with John Ireland.
All of a sudden, this guy, who's a surgeon, who everybody knows, looks at Magic and goes, I swear to God, with this tone, "Hey, man, I was open."
Oh, my God.
And Magic looks at him, and then he looks at me. He goes, "Okay."
How fake was that laugh, Travis? There's no way you found that funny. Anyway, let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday right now.
Yeah, I found it funnier than you rerunning it back again, if that's an answer to it.
Oh, I think that was real.
It was real.
I felt like it was genuine.
Yeah.
I felt like it was genuine because the dude really told Magic Johnson, "Hey, brother, I'm open on the outside here. You got to hit me for three." And instead of John just getting a layup, he told Magic Johnson that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you do. You tell Magic to get me the ball.
I can actually see you doing that.
Not to Magic. To almost everybody else, sure. I think I'd take my pass on
Was
Magic.
Mike Conley?
Oh, yeah. I don't care about Mike Conley.
Conley.
I never had a Mike Conley poster on my wall as a kid.
That's why I kind of went Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Still a respected NBA
fine.
player, but
He's
you say
fine.
to yourself, yeah, that's different.
I had Magic. I had Jam Session, which was actually a Michael Thompson poster, believe it or not. I think I've told you that before.
Jam Session?
There was this
Told you mine.
poster of all of these basketball players, like at a court in Venice Beach, like playing pickup ball. And they were all lined up, and it was all the Nike guys. And it was all the Nike guys in like 1981 or 2.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it at the time. Michael was
Of course
in
Michael's in it.
Michael was in it. So I had a Michael Thompson, a George Brett, and a Reggie Jackson. So yeah, I would not have said anything to Magic, but I would have said something to Mike Conley.
I had
sure.
Vlade representing Marlboro Lights.
You maybe get those points where you can send in and get the free jacket, right? Or the cozy or whatever it is.
I told you the Pepsi one, right? The documentary on Pepsi.
Yeah.
That's
same idea.
it was all about the points.
And you didn't want the jet. You wanted the Vlade poster.
I wanted the
You started
dartboard.
smoking Winston's just to get the
I think
Vlade dartboard.
I think I really was playing for a dartboard. I'm not kidding. Yeah, my dad had the convenience store. I'm like, Dad, every time you guys get cases in, just cut it out. Cut the Pepsi out. Let me get this dartboard.
Were you an aspiring darts thrower? Is that something that you really were hoping to
No.
go pro in or something?
I just thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, I could have a dartboard at age 12. I'm like, I'm on my way.
What an odd thing to want. I mean, I like
Darts
playing
are fun.
It is
Yeah, darts are
fun,
fun.
but they're fun when you're like 20 and half drunk in a bar. Like just being in your room throwing
Who
darts
says I
by
wasn't
yourself.
half drunk watching Sedale and Nick Van Exel?
Fair enough.
But I thought that Chris was bringing up this story to either own up to the story or say Scottie Pippen-esque and say, like, oh, if I was in that game, I would have done this.
A young Scottie Pippen, please.
Oh, right,
Not
yes.
Scottie Pippen-esque, but rather a young Scottie Pippen.
By the way, he played Adele. I thought Adele was just for the Rams.
It's for anybody that loses.
Yeah, but didn't I say?
Because he's done it for the Dodgers,
But
he's done it for the Rams, he's done it for the Lakers.
I think I asked one time if I could get Whitney Houston for the Lakers. Right? Like, can I know it. I know this isn't a jukebox, but can I get a different artist so that Adele is just for you and the Rams, and then I could brand the Lakers' losses with a different unbelievable
Adele started
artist.
last year, my dude. When Rams were good and it was the Lakers were bad. It started last year.
It's been there for the Dodgers too. It's
Let's
not.
adapt.
It's losing. It's sadness. It's despair.
Well, no, wait. Listen.
it's knowing that your team blew an opportunity to do something cool. Chris is a misery profiteer.
Can I at least get the artist I like with a different sad song?
No, that's the whole point. You just have to take the misery as it comes, and that's what
I
makes
know
him
Chris
so happy.
enough. He might throw a Whitney Houston one of these
No,
days.
but now that he knows that's what you want, you're less likely to get it. You just got to kind of hope that it happens.
Should have kept my mouth shut.
You probably should have. It was such
buddy.
a weird night. It was such because game starts and it kind of looks like it's going to go the way you think it's going to go. Celtics get out to 10, 12-point, 15-point lead. And
Third quarter down 20.
Kind of just sits there for most of the night, and it's okay. This is not going to go the way. And then all of a sudden, They get sizzling hot. The Celtics go ice cold. The Lakers are making everything. And Slee, there was a moment with about, I guess maybe you probably remember better than I do, about 6 minutes or so when Westbrook got the breakaway dunk, slams it. They call timeout. I think they were up 12 or 13.
Yeah,
the Lakers were
that.
something like that. About 6 minutes to go, give or take.
Yeah, around there.
You felt like not only are the Lakers going to win, they're going to run them off the court because they'd outscored them. I think it was
I got
33-6 at one point.
Can I give you these stats here real quick? Just because it almost felt like it was 3 different games within the same game. Okay?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, Celtics, Clutch Points put this up yesterday. Celtics' biggest lead was 20 in the third quarter. All right? Lakers outscored the Celtics 41-9 and led by 13 with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game.
Yikes.
Okay? Boston then outscored the Lakers 29-12 over the final 3 minutes and 43 seconds plus the OT. So in an 8-minute stretch, they outscored the Lakers by 17. The Lakers in a, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe a 14-minute, 12-minute stretch, outscored the Celtics by 32.
Yeah.
And we're left with the result of, I mentioned this to you real quick this morning, and I really, really thought I was going to have this walking back to the studio. Look, the Lakers have been back at crypto for remember when COVID happened, first you're in Orlando,
right,
and then the next season starts. Then there's nobody. So it's literally the media sitting there with, I can hear Bron yelling at whoever he's yelling
Super
at, okay?
weird.
Incredibly odd.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they start kind of, hey, they're going to let 1,000 fans back in. They're going to let 2,000 fans back in. And yes, you got, and by the way, the Lakers were bad all of last year, so you're not getting many games where there's a lot of juice, right? This season starts. Of course, all the fans are back and everything else, but I'm not kidding when I tell you this. The place it reminded me pre-COVID. Lakers had, I don't know if you remember this, they had a weekend right before the games stopped, and it was the Milwaukee Bucks on a Friday night. And it was Giannis coming to town. This is pre-COVID, right before the league stopped. They had Giannis on a Friday night against the Bucks. And the Lakers, the year that they won a championship, the criticism towards that team was, you haven't beat anybody good. Mm-hmm. And they beat the Bucks on a Friday night. The place is rocking. On a Sunday, it's a Clippers home game. The place is rocking again.
They lose to like the Nets the night after that or something?
They did.
Yeah.
Almost at the buzzer or something like that. They lost to the Nets. This is pre-KD and everything else. And you felt like, yesterday I'm watching the game, I'm saying to myself, wow, this actually feels amazing. You're talking about the Russ dunk. The energy was amazing. And it's the Boston Celtics.
Sure.
And I know that, it's not like the Lakers, this specific team, and that specific Celtics team. It's not like they battle each other all the time. It's still the Lakers and the Celtics.
Sure.
And you felt like, damn, this is an awesome freaking vibe. And then I came across the street and everything just went to hell.
So you didn't even get a chance to see it with your own eyes because you have to get back here to
I
do
saw all the good stuff.
Yeah, you saw maybe the Sliwa jinx happened in reverse. Maybe you needed to stay there in person to see him get across the finish line.
We had an intern last night. We did the show on social, the post-game show, and one of the interns, his name is Graham, okay? So Graham is here, and Josh is here as well, so they did the whole thing. And Josh tells me, that's Graham's second game that he's been to. I'm like, cool, what's the first game that you were at?
Indiana.
He said the Pacers.
Yeah.
I said, Graham, you were at the blowout, the Lakers blowing out the Pacers. They came back and won, and you were at the Celtics? He's like, yeah. I'm like, Graham, you're not coming to these games anymore.
Graham's barred from the building. They're going to put his face like at the post office where they put up the picture of Osama bin Laden, where you're not allowed to, the most wanted man on earth. That Graham's going to be that guy at crypto.com where Graham's not allowed in.
You just said that Graham is like the same wall as Osama.
Well, to Laker fans, he might be. I mean, if they're blowing giant leads to,
Here's
especially
what
the good
Laden
teams like
did.
the Celtics.
Here's what Graham did.
I mean,
what
did you say? They had a 13-point lead with 3 minutes to go. It's pretty bad.
3:43 left to go.
It's pretty bad. There's a million things that happened, too, for that to go that way. They had obviously missed free throws, which was a killer. They went into prevent offense. We talk about prevent defense all the time. The Lakers started playing prevent offense.
They didn't have an offense.
That's what I mean. They just dribble out the clock till 2 or 3 seconds left and have LeBron take a bad 3-point shot, Russ lost his mind in overtime after getting off to a great start. He went insane and started jacking up crazy three-pointers. And for me, I thought that there was a huge failure on Darvin Ham's point in overtime on not insisting that the ball go to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis touched the ball once in OT. That can't happen. Anthony Davis was awesome again. I mean, free throws aside, but Anthony Davis was awesome again last night. He's been terrific for a month now. How does your best player, who's having a killer night, all of a sudden become an afterthought and only touch the ball once in a 5-minute overtime period? It's inexplicable to me, and I get it. LeBron is LeBron, and Russell Westbrook did have the hot hand for a period of time, but AD has to touch the ball. He has to. And if they're not getting the ball, call timeout and fix it. Insist that it starts to happen. And I like Darvin Ham. He's a nice guy. He's a intimidating, tough guy, all these things. Dude, that's on you to make sure that guy gets the ball. That's your job as the coach to say, hey, hold on a second, timeout. This is the man. The reason we're in this game is because he's killing it. The reason we're doing this is, I get it, Russ, you missed a couple, but it's got to go through AD. That has to happen.
Okay, let me ask you this question. So Lakers played Philly in OT on Friday night.
Yes.
And AD took one shot in OT. He touched the ball twice. One was just like a dribble handoff.
Right.
Which it's funny that's part of the stats. It's like he touched the ball twice. I'm like, yeah, but
Once.
I could have deflected the ball. Does that count as a possession? Okay, so he touched the ball twice. He took one shot. Yesterday you mentioned overtime took one shot, right? Is that what that's what you mentioned? So this actually I'm a little bit different on. The Darvin Ham piece of this, I hold less on Darvin for yesterday's game. I hold less on Darvin for the game against the Philadelphia 76ers on Friday. Let's do this. When we come back, I want to make a case that wasn't on Darvin Ham yesterday. I got other fingers. I'm ready to point my fingers
you got five
in
fingers. One of them better be
many
pointed at
many
him.
Directions.
Save one for him because he
Where's Pat
definitely
Bev?
gets one. He can
Where's
have one. Like everybody gets at least one. Maybe we throw a couple Darvin's way. Maybe that's how we do that. That's coming up next. It's Travis Sliwa, 710 ESPN. We are here with Chef Isaac Flores, one of my best guys, of course, from Meat District. We're getting ready for the ultimate grilling experience. You're not going to believe this prize package I'm going to tell you about in a second. The 100% Angus beef Meat District butcher crafted burgers, unbelievable. Here's what you want to do. GrillingLikeAChamp.com. That's where you want to go. You're going to want to enter a chance to win. Listen to this prize package. We're talking burgers, a new cooler, a soundbox speaker, an Epson HD projector, and an ultimate VIP experience at the Rams on Christmas Day. You're talking about on the field with passes. You're talking about a VIP experience, 2 custom-made jerseys, a VIP tailgate party. You got to go to GrillingLikeAChamp.com to get in on this.
Burgers are ready.
All right. Oh, we got a little caramelized onions going here.
I always forget, you need one of these. You need one of those.
All right. Cheers.
I'm going to.
Here you go.
Salute.
Salute. And it's a double. Just saying, he knows what I'm about. Well done, Chef.
Thank you very much.
GrillingLikeAChamp.com.
Get in on it.
Where do broken hearts go, Slee? Anyway, Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday continues now.
Thank you, Chris.
You feel better?
That's all I was asking for. You mix some Whitney in here,
You're going to go see the Whitney movie?
I'm going to shed a tear.
Did you see that there's a Whitney movie? Saw it on
Did I
TV
see it?
last
Yeah, I
night.
think
There
I
was
did
a-
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's not for me. I don't think that
Yeah.
they put that movie together hoping that I'd go see it, but it's out there.
I'm going to see it tonight.
I don't know if it's out yet. It might
It's
not be
not out
available
yet.
yet.
It's by the same people who did Bohemian Rhapsody, so if that tells you anything about what the movie's going to look
That
like.
was okay. I didn't hate that. It was all right. I mean, I wasn't.
awesome.
Put it to this way: the second it was over, I'm like, yeah, I don't ever need to see that again. That
Right.
was fine. But
It's awesome that Chris just went out and got that. That's a good pull, Chris. It's a
Don't
good
worry,
pull,
I set up a
Morales.
couple more. We're going to have sad Whitney songs a couple more times this show.
you gonna go
It's the
see
only
the
thing I
Whitney
could
movie?
look forward to. Yeah, Taylor and I already talked about what. How are we
When
doing
you
this?
go on your trip to
It's-
Sacramento, you're gonna go. That's what you're gonna spend your afternoon.
No,
doing?
I'm going. Remember when his roommates were just going at it on the front yard? Remember when he said his roommates got in a fight against each other?
I don't know if I was here that day. It
No,
doesn't
I
sound
think Trav
familiar at
stepped
all.
out. That's when Mace was in. He wanted a special factor cap.
Yeah, I don't.
Or, hey, did you see it? And I gave him a factor cap.
Well, you lied to us. You said you're going to listen on your way to the
Oh,
Rams
there was
game.
no chance I was listening to that. What's
Just
that
complete
story?
silence.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I might have done it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Your roommates got into like a knockdown, drag-out fist fight?
Well, there was only
But
one.
don't tell him. Just go back to the podcast.
There was, excuse me.
You all right there? You need a glass of water?
Yeah,
He's
Heimlich
emotional.
maneuver?
Swallowed
He's
my tea or
emotional.
something. No, it's
Yeah,
a-
two
it's
of his
sad
roommates
story
got in a
for me,
fight.
Okay. Two of my roommates are kind of chummy, and they hang out, watch Rick and Morty, and smoke, stuff sometimes.
Smoke
and
some ganja.
I don't know. They like to argue about everything. So they argue about, the plot of Rick and Morty, politics, important stuff like that. And I guess one of them spilled
Wine on the other guy's shirt.
Yeah, it was like an expensive
And the shirt had a $200 value.
Very expensive shirt. And
So he said, "You're going to pay for that shirt, buddy."
one
He
way
said,
or
"No,
another,
I'm
you're going
not."
to pay for it. So
Yep.
yeah, it spilled out onto the lawn, and the guy.
And they went at it.
Yeah. the guy
Anybody get
that's-
bloodied?
Well, the guy that spilled the wine on the shirt got knocked out.
Knocked out?
Knocked down, rather.
Okay,
Okay.
knockdown's much better than knocked out.
Knocked out is
Nobody needs to
scary.
get knocked out.
And they're friends again, so it's all good.
I don't think I could do that. I don't think, look, fights happen. Occasionally stuff escalates to a point where violence occurs. I understand that, but I don't think I could be friends with somebody after having a fight like that. I don't think I could do it.
I don't know if they remember.
Well, that might help.
I woke up in the morning
No
and was like,
recollection of
"Gosh,
it."
my jaw's kind of sore." Anyways, where's the cereal?
Why do
There's
I
wine
have
on my shirt?
wine and blood on my shirt? Did you have to drag him back into the house, Taylor? Did you just sit there and watch it?
So
Did you
I was coming
officiate?
back home from a gig, and I saw the aftermath of it, and I heard the
Were the authorities involved, or did they
No,
get
not like that.
Okay,
Come on, bro. Not in his neighborhood.
no.
You
There's
never
no
know.
authorities
You know
that
what
come.
they say about snitches, right?
I did not
It's good.
think that we'd get a snitches get stitches line out of you
Yeah.
before 11 o'clock this morning. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little surprised.
Anyways, this all
that's
goes
what
back
came
to
your way.
Taylor and I watching the Whitney Houston.
I don't know
movie
how you
together.
got. How did you get to the?
On the way to Sacramento, or what are we doing?
On the way to Sacramento.
Okay.
We're going to stop.
I'm confused. How did we go from the Whitney Houston movie to the fight?
I said we're going to watch. I said it's emotional. And then I said because of his roommates. the fight, something along those lines. Go back and listen to the podcast. What do you want me to
replay
the whole
I was
story?
here for this part. I just don't know how we got from one to the next.
I don't know either.
It's very, very confusing. All right, why is it not Darvin Ham's fault for telling his team not to give the ball
Bro,
to the
hit
best
your free
player?
throws.
Well,
hit
sure.
your free throws.
Sure,
I
but
don't know what you
after
want me to
that-
tell you, but don't. There is no after that.
Of course there is. They played in overtime.
Yeah, there are certain games you just kind of know.
So just so I'm clear, once overtime happens, the coach is off the clock. He doesn't have to do anything
No,
anymore.
he's not off the clock. You're not wrong on what you're saying about overtime. My point is that there are moments that you have a chance to win the game. You know how sometimes we talk about this. You talk about Kobe hits an 18-foot jumper with 2 seconds left, and that's a wrap. The game is over. Sometimes you talk about somebody hitting a shot, a buzzer beater, whatever the case is. Free throws are kind of like that in certain situations. I know we have this. Anthony Davis missed a free throw against the Philadelphia 76ers with the game on the line. 2 free throws yesterday against the Boston Celtics game on. Look, I had a lot of callers calling in yesterday. They were talking about Darvin Ham. I'm not saying Darvin Ham gets a free pass. What I'm saying, when the game is on the line and your best player who shoots 83% from the free throw line has the ball, hit one of the two, misses both, here's his response.
For me, you go back to the free throws and Philly, go up 1, no timeouts, full court, and then, go up 4, 2-possession game. So, that's what my head is right now.
He went on and kind of started his whole postgame like, I don't even care what happened after. I missed the free throws with the game on the line. I'm the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Philadelphia 76ers were asking us to win the game. Here's the ball in his hands. He missed clutch free throws, clutch situation. That's the ball game. You could tell AD played 46 minutes yesterday. Bron, I think, played 43, 44 minutes, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. They looked gassed in overtime against Philly. They looked gassed yesterday in overtime against the Boston Celtics. When you could close it out in regulation, you have to. And I knew it. Once the game went to overtime, Lakers are going to lose this game.
Yeah, the momentum had certainly shifted at that point, and he should make the free throws. You're right about that missing the free throws ultimately cost them the opportunity to win it in regulation. Sure, yes to all of that, but they did have a chance to win the game. They got off to a good start in overtime, and this is, the coach can't go out there and elbow in and fan in the basket and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but there was additional mistakes long after that. Russ kept checking up terrible shots. After
Nobody else
made
wanted
a couple.
to shoot either.
I get Anthony Davis has been fantastic. He's been MVP level good for the better part of a month. And I don't know why the head coach is there if not to, hey, guys, hold on a second. I know that this is spiraling out of control. We missed some free throws. The game's getting away from us right now. Hold on. Let's go through Anthony Davis again. I get it. He was gassed. LeBron is gassed. We'll come back to that because I think that's an important part of it too. But you have to take control of your team. I get it. You got a veteran team with Westbrook and LeBron and AD, and these guys have been around a long time. They've seen a lot of NBA basketball. But he's there for a reason, and the reason was right there yesterday. Call timeout, and let's get reset. Let's recalibrate. Let's get back to why we're in this game in the first place. It's because Anthony Davis started doing Anthony Davis things again, and let's get our best player the ball. Because I agree with you. He is their best player. It's really not even close at this point. LeBron was terrific last night. But this is the reason that we're all of a sudden far more bullish on this team than we were a month ago. It's because of Anthony Davis. He has to have the ball.
Can I ask you
once? He has to have the ball nearly every time.
Can I ask you a question on this?
I just don't understand why he's not responsible for what happened right there.
Okay. Does Anthony Davis need? First off, I'm going to play this narrative for you. Hit your free throws. The game is over. Put that to the side. Okay. I'm going to play this narrative for you. Tatum comes back, hits a jumper. LeBron now has the ball. I don't know if you saw in that last play, Anthony Davis is basically going up to LeBron to set a screen. They're going to do something, and then just gets the hell out of the way and says, all right, Bron's going to take the final shot. Do you think Anthony Davis needs hey, I have to get a signed letter from Darvin Ham to go demand the ball?
Of course not.
He doesn't, right?
Right.
Part of my frustration, and he had some timeouts. Darvin Ham could have used a timeout on the final possession, okay, and actually ran a play. He could have, like you mentioned in overtime, said to each one of these guys, listen, we got one way we're going to win the game. It's not Russ taking jumpers.
Right.
And if you saw how far Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart were from Russell Westbrook, fire away, my brother. That's what they were saying, right? I'm not saying that Darvin Ham should not be running and calling specific plays for Anthony Davis, but he also doesn't need to go get a approval from Darvin Ham.
All of the things can happen.
I find AD
guys...
kind of, on a lot of these possessions too, kind of getting away from where the action is.
For sure. I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying that it has to be one or the other, but if Anthony Davis isn't insisting on it, then that's when you step in. That's when you do it. If he's not going to do it on his own, if he's not going to demand the ball, and by the way, the end of the game, I would have rather the ball go to Anthony Davis, but LeBron taking the last, I can live with it, right? It's LeBron James. But you're right, only if option 1, do it yourself, isn't happening, if option 2, LeBron giving it to Anthony Davis isn't happening, then option 3 needs to be the head coach saying, guys, hold on, reset. Let's understand why we got here. His responsibility as the coach is to get guys to play hard, which they do.
Yep.
His second responsibility as the coach is to take a broader picture of what's happening and get them back to what they need to be doing in moments where they get away from it. When everything's clicking, he was getting criticized for playing
Keeping
these guys so many
in.
heavy minutes, and I get it, but his response, look,
I'm running with what's working right now.
I'm okay with that, 100%.
Which
okay
a lot
with
of
that
coaches
response.
don't do that.
That's fine. Look, they don't have a lot of options beyond what they had out there.
That's
last
a different
night.
conversation.
That's
yeah.
a different conversation. I agree with you. But when it's guys are tired, guys are gassed, and all of a sudden, hey, the reason we're in overtime, globally speaking, is because Anthony Davis is awesome. Why are we not going to Anthony Davis? Guys, let's get the ball back to our best player. And if that's not working, then we can go to the other things. But let's get focused on what we're supposed to do. He didn't do that.
So here's why I'm not crazy about your argument. I don't like your argument is because you're saying it about overtime. I think if you said, hey, 3:40 left in the game, you're up 13. Why did you?
That too.
I think if you isolate, I really do believe this. Sometimes when momentum goes a certain way, I didn't feel like the Lakers were going to win in OT. Okay, I didn't. The fact that the game got to OT, but I feel like a lot of the points that you're making make it with 3:40 left in the fourth quarter.
Great.
You see what I'm saying?
But fine. Yes, agreed.
But you're saying it's the same principle.
It's the same
of it.
idea. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. Whether we do it with 3 minutes left or 5 minutes left in overtime, what's the difference? The message still needs to be the same. And Anthony Davis has been so good. He's not going to be that guy, like you're saying, where he's going to jump up and down and stomp his foot. And I don't know why I didn't touch it more than one time.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that. I get it. It's not in his personality. Then somebody needs to do it for him. Because he is their best player.
Yep.
He is the best option that they have. And I really do believe that had he touched the ball more than one time in overtime, I'm with you, Al, to the point that the momentum had completely swung back the other way. And the NBA is a lot about momentum, no question about it. But if you call timeout and try to get the momentum back with your best player, that was your best shot to win it, and they didn't do it.
Why did Emily have to put the stat up? Do we need to see that?
That is a lot of percentage
I don't need that.
points. 99.3% chance of winning that game with just a shade over 4 minutes left.
Emily.
When they were up 13.
It's just the facts,
Thought
Al.
we were
That's just
friends.
math, Al. It's just math.
Thought we were friends.
Math doesn't
Do
have
you know
any
the
friends.
Raiders percentage winning that they would have at the end of that game? It's probably similar.
I bet it was higher, actually.
Yeah,
I bet
this
it was
is
higher.
nothing. This is nothing compared to
Yeah.
that.
99.3%.
Okay, I gotta. I want to.
When Westbrook had that dunk, like when they tapped it and he was,
Yeah.
the
You know, you're
the
not
breakaway.
supposed to get up in that area.
What area?
In just kind of where we used to sit. You used to sit
Oh,
as well,
yeah.
just in the media section.
celebrate.
Yeah, I was ready to take off like my shirt and just start going like this.
And that was the moment, because to your point, these games are played with such an incredible amount of momentum and passion that when Russ had that dunk and he's like, yeah, that whole thing,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this one's over. That was the exclamation point. That was the dagger. That's it. Turn the channel, go watch Law and Order and fall asleep, right? And it didn't happen like that.
No, it
they
didn't.
weren't able to close
Freaking
it.
collapse.
And this is something that they do, and this is what we can talk about next, that this is another blown lead against a good team. Their record against good teams is not good at all. And you mentioned it a second ago, heavy, heavy minutes for a guy that is injury-prone and another guy that's in his 20th season. How sustainable are both of those things? That's coming up next. It's Travis Sliwa, 710. We are here with Chef Isaac Flores, one of my best guys, of course, from Meat District. We're getting ready for the ultimate grilling experience. You're not going to believe this prize package I'm going to tell you about in a second. The 100% Angus Beef Meat District Butcher Crafted Burgers. Unbelievable. Here's what you want to do. GrillingLikeAChamp.com. That's where you want to go. You're going to want to enter If a chance to win, listen to this prize package. We're talking burgers, a new cooler, a soundbox speaker, an Epson HD projector, and an ultimate VIP experience at the Rams on Christmas Day. You're talking about on the field with passes. You're talking about a VIP experience, 2 custom-made jerseys, a VIP tailgate party. You got to go to grillinglikeachamp.com to get in on this.
Burgers are ready.
All right. Oh, we got a little caramelized onions going here.
Always forget, you need one of these.
Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPN LA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPN LA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPN LA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
Some music. Great memories of him and Slee over this with this music. Anyway, Ask Ireland coming up around 10:45, 10:50. Depending on when we get to it. Ask Ireland. Don't miss it. Travis and Slee, your Wednesday continues now.
Does this bring back fond memories for you, Slee?
Yeah, I loved having no sports and doing a show for 2.5 hours.
Would you rather have sad Whitney Houston?
Oh, that's real music. I'll take Whitney any day.
This was in Chinatown.
I know, but Whitney is like Whitney.
Chinatown's a great movie, a classic movie.
I saw Chinatown only because of this. I'd never seen it, and I saw it during COVID. We watched a lot during COVID.
There was a lot of time. You had some free time to take in some old movies.
By the way, that too, you had no sports at all. So, I mean, there were literally no games to do. So I wouldn't go on till 6 o'clock, something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll just watch every movie that's out there until 4.
You finished Netflix. You went through it all. Everything that Netflix has, you'd been through it along the way. Music, we were talking about scents yesterday, right? Aromas, smells that can kind of take you back.
Memories.
Music can do that too. Does this like trigger a little pandemic PTSD?
I think we were all going stir crazy.
You know what does it for me? Not a piece of music, but just I hear the name or the thing. Was it called the Lion King? What's the guy that the crazy guy in Oklahoma that
Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Yes.
Lion King's the
Lion
Disney
King's
movie.
movie.
Yeah, the
Lion
Tiger
King is Mufasa.
Yes, my bad. Lion King is Mufasa and Simba. The Tiger King was Cowboy Joe. What was his name? Something.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, it's
Did you
I gotta figure it.
Oh, I saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
And was it
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic.
and
That's
what
what
was
it was.
Was it Carol? Or am I making
Carol
Carol
Baskin.
Baskin.
Carol,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
she,
then she's
yeah, she
memorializing
scared me.
songs and stuff.
Well,
She scared me.
We're still looking for the first
I know.
husband. I know he's kind of just not around anymore. Nobody knows where he went.
I never said anything. Like if I saw her, I'd say, "Nice to meet
All
you."
right, Carol,
I
bye.
would say nothing else.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Star Wars reminds me of COVID because I went through the entirety of the Star Wars
Okay, I should do
thing
that.
then. Yeah.
I'm sure
not
everybody's
a,
got one.
I'm not a Star Wars guy. Should I go back, like start from?
It's good.
I've seen like bits and pieces of movies, but I never actually dedicated time to Star Wars. And even as a kid, I never did. Is that something I should? No. If you say no, I'm not going to.
I like them, but I don't know if you'll like them or not. To kind of dip your toe into the pool as an adult in that thing, I think
That's
would
different.
be odd. Put it to you this way. The only reason I am still in the Star Wars universe is because they grabbed me when I was 7. Right? So when I was 7 and Star Wars came out, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And then Empire and Jedi, I'm like, these are amazing. And then fast forward another 15 or 20 years, and the next one coming, you're like, huh, that wasn't great. And then
The prequels weren't that great.
Yeah, and then the next generation of 3 were actually pretty good again.
Yeah.
Like I liked those again, but
If
I have no idea
said,
whether you like it or not.
Star Wars got me when I was 40. Be a little weird.
It'd be unusual.
Be a little different.
I
Not
liked it
unprecedented.
because I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I really liked going back and watching it. I just had never had a family that grew up watching it, so that's why I didn't see it until I was 23 or whatever. But yeah, you should. I mean, just give it a try.
All right, during COVID too, all of Boardwalk Empire, all of Sopranos, and all of The Wire.
Yeah, good choices.
I'd seen some episodes of Sopranos, but I actually went back and saw everything.
Those are great.
Yeah.
I never saw Boardwalk Empire. Never had a chance
good.
to see that one. But the
Really
other
good.
two I've seen multiple times. Like beginning at there, you can't watch those
No.
enough.
No,
You
it's good.
can't watch them enough along the way. Ask Ireland is coming up, say 10 minutes
Yeah.
from right now. I got some very good ones on the Twitter machine, so I'm good to go there. If you want to get in on the phone as well, 877-710 ESPN. You know, the Ireland stuff that you would imagine. We're getting some of those. A lot of station questions along the way. I tried to push people off at the pass
you
league.
don't want Lakers
No
stuff.
Lakers, no
Yeah.
NBA. That's we can do that anyway.
I'll ask him.
Well, you can ask him those questions.
Hey,
along the
John,
way.
2 minutes left to go. No,
2 minutes left to go, and both of these guys had already played 900 minutes last night. And look, I get it. You're trying to win games. They're 5-15 against teams with winning records this year. Odds are you're going to play a team with a winning record in the postseason.
Sure.
So they're not beating the better teams. That goes without saying at 5-15. The only chance they have to win those games is to play LeBron and AD really heavy minutes.
Yep.
LeBron is in year 20. We know that. AD, who looks phenomenal, at
Has
the moment.
a history of
He gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He does. That's just the until he doesn't for a long period of time, we're going to assume that he might get injured again. This feels very unsustainable to play these guys 40-plus minutes, in these biggest games because it's your only chance to win, which to bring this all the way back around again, I think it makes it more likely that you go make a deal because you're going to have to give these guys some help. What they have right now isn't good enough. If they're not giving you what they gave you last night, and even that wasn't good enough, you're not going to beat these good teams.
So here's kind of the question that you have if you're the Lakers, and I'm with you. They look there's only so much talent that they have, and you can have guys like Bron and Anthony Davis carry you, but ultimately you got to have you got to have depth. You got to have other players that you can rely on. December 15th is obviously just around the corner, and the names that have been thrown around in the past was Patrick Beverley, not because of who he is today, but because of the dollar amount that's associated with him, and Kendrick Nunn. You can get about a $20 million player with those two guys. The question just comes down to all these other teams know that you need another player. So just what are you willing to give up in draft compensation? And listen, if you're using those two players, you're not giving up 2 first-rounders, so you don't have to worry about that. The question actually becomes, it's a first-rounder, but is it unprotected? Or is it 2 second-rounders, but you can go out and get – I'm going to use one player, and I'm sure you didn't watch a game, but I'm going to just give it to you. Bojan Bogdanovic on Sunday.
Sure.
Had 25 points in just the third quarter against the Lakers. He's not – I'm not telling you go run a franchise
shoot.
around him, The guy can hit buckets.
Right.
There's some things that comes with his contract that are in favor of the Pistons. They're like, okay, cool, so we can get rid of his contract. He's guaranteed money next year and the following year, but that's a team option. But if Bogdanovich was on the Lakers, you probably don't have to play Anthony Davis 46 minutes. If Bogdanovich was on the Lakers, then you could, in theory, have stretches of the game where you're not just dependent on LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and I think it does go to your point. Yesterday was a perfect example of that. Yesterday was
so much from those guys.
Yesterday was Lonnie Walker didn't give you much yesterday. Dennis Schroeder didn't give you much yesterday. Austin Reeves, Troy Brown Jr. These guys they're nice role players, Trav. But you know what they're not? They're not supposed to be the third or fourth best player on your team. Russ last night, he does a lot of different things. He was 7 of 19 from the field. Okay? Bron missed 11 shots yesterday. He was great.
And took some bad ones.
8 of those misses were threes.
I know.
Because he's gassed. What do you do if you go play at a gym tomorrow and you get tired? Are you saying, well, I'm going to drive the ball to the rack? No, you're like, I'm going to sit here 22 feet away from the basket and take a jumper. So I'm with you where you're falling there. It's what are they going to do now? Because clearly AD and Bron can have great games.
Yeah.
You can still lose. And you
it's a
need
weird
some
spot.
help.
It's
you
a
need
super
some help.
weird spot because that's a great way to put it. LeBron James and Anthony Davis can be terrific, and you can still lose. So just hoping that those guys are good enough to get you over the top, probably not.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to keep it close. It's going to be fun. This is far more fun than I thought we were going to have at any point this season. It really is. That I thought with 2-10, that oh boy, is this going to be a 23, 24 win team? Like,
well, that's why you were making the case of like, hey, I don't think there's any future here.
Let the clock expire and let's just move it. It's far more entertaining than that, which is good news. But what do you get is the first. Bojan Bogdanović is an interesting. That's kind of exactly what.
Just
they
using
need.
an example because his name's been.
It depends on the
rumored.
price. It depends on how many picks and which picks and all of these other things, because even with that, you're in the middle, maybe slightly below the middle, and right now there's still I know Barkley did his whole thing last night where why are we talking about the 12th seed in the Western Conference? We never talk about the Wizards in the East. The blah blah. He did the Barkley. It was funny, but we've heard it before, right? But this is a really weird spot because they're better than I think almost anybody would have thought they would be. Only they're not really good. It's a weird spot. Like, how much do you fix the car that's depreciating in value? It's kind of expensive to fix it, but if we do fix it, it might run for another year or two. It's a weird deal. Like, how much more money do we spend on something that I don't know how much longer it's going to last anyway? And that's where they are, and that's where the decisions get really tough, and you need to be an expert in these things.
Well, listen, and there's still a lot of layers to this Lakers, and we could get into it down the road. We got a lot of other stuff coming up. Correa, we obviously got to talk about going to the Giants. Ireland coming up next. We're going to do a little Ask Ireland. But later in the show, you had mentioned something. This was before they started the road trip, that 6-game road trip. And you said that you had just as much interest of seeing how they're playing in these games and the actual result.
LeBron feels differently.
And we'll do it later. And I'm more with him.
What does he know? What does LeBron James know about basketball?
By the way, I love it was Dan Wyke of the LA Times. You can't even get the question out, and LeBron's like, no, that ain't going to work.
I'm on Dan's side. I thought it was a good question. Good question, Dan. Keep firing. Ask Ireland coming up next. It's Travis Sliwa, 710. Hey, Rams fans, Travis Rogers here. You have got to get the new ESPN LA app. In fact, let's go down to the locker room and get a little help.
What's up, Rams fans? This is Matthew Stafford. React to the Rams on the new ESPN LA app.
This is Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. Listen to all your Rams talk on the ESPN LA app.
You are just one tap away from Rams All Access. Travis and Slee, Mason and Ireland, and Sedano and Cap. Download it now on the App Store or Google Play.
ESPN.
Does he go out and hunt for it, or will he Instacart it? Hashtag Ask Slee.
Time for the segment everyone loves. Time for the segment Los Angeles loves. Ask Slee.
Ask Slee.
And Ask Slee this morning is presented by Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in Futter, California. From dining to unwinding, a trip to Futter, California is always a win. Are you game for a getaway? Start planning your trip by visiting harrahssocal.com. And it is time for Ask Slee.
All right, so Wednesdays have gone from Ask Slee to Ask somebody else here at the station. We've done Bergman, we've done Momo, and today is none other than Ask John Ireland. Ireland, thanks for playing along today. How you feeling this morning?
Good. I'm kind of like Slee. I feel like I rode a roller coaster all night, but it was a really fun game. I just wish they would have won it.
Yeah, it would have been better. It would have been more fun. Make a couple of free throws. We'll talk about it when you come in for Super Crosstalk. But more importantly, we have questions about you and what you'd want to do here at the station. Let's start with Era, who writes, Ireland, if you had to swap lives with another 710 ESPN on-air host, who would it be and why? And he gives you choices between Sedano and Cap, Sliwa and myself, or Mason. You have to switch lives with one of us. Who do you want and why?
Well, Trav, I think you probably know it's you.
I had a feeling.
You're the closest one to me. I mean, your relationship with Susan is a lot like mine with Lisa. If we get a spare 5-hour block, we're golfing. I'm kind of set in my ways. I don't like to do what I don't want to do. It would be you.
Yeah, but if you go Mason, you're kicking back, you're relaxing, you're, maybe enjoying some ganja a little bit later in the day. It's not a bad life either, John.
Here's two things about that. Number one, I'm not a weed guy. Never have been. Mason is. I don't think Mason has gone a day without weed in probably 5 years. So that disqualifies him immediately. And Mason will tell you this himself. He's miserable half the time. I mean, he's openly talked about how the fact that he's bipolar, which by definition means half the time he's miserable. 99% of the time I'm happy. It takes a lot to get me off the axis. So, and Trav, I sense that with you. You most of the time you're in a good mood and you're happy. I'm going into that boat.
Okay, so let me just put one quick thing in there. I, like you, through high school, through college, through almost my entire adulthood, was not a weed guy until maybe 2 years or so ago. Just saying, John, you and I like a lot of the same things.
Good morning, buddy.
We like a lot of the same things. I'm just saying it may be something you might want to kick the tires on.
Well, I will admit to this. I've talked about this on our show. I'm using it. James Worthy and Scott Kaplan both gave me stuff. They heard me talking about how I don't sleep great, and they both gave me gummies to help me sleep. Worthy actually gave me a tincture of these drops, and it's completely gotten me off of Ambien.
Yes.
So I guess in that sense, I am part of the weed crowd. I just don't smoke anything.
This is weird, John, because that's exactly how I got started.
Oh, you guys are literally twins here.
That is just
best friends.
We'll leave it right there. We'll move on to the next one. This is from Burned, and it says, John, you've been running Mesa. Have you been running up Mesa's tab on Grubhub while you've had control? If not, get on it. Have you ordered yourself anything from his account?
And I didn't even think of it until just now. I'm an idiot. I never thought of that. I could have totally done that, and I don't think he would have checked.
I was just going to say, do you think Mason would notice? I mean, you could order whatever you want. Do you think Mason's looking at that bank statement every month?
Well, don't you get an email or a text from Grubhub whenever you act? I mean, I could change the delivery address.
Yes.
And have it sent here. Could I change the contact number?
Probably. I mean, you have the keys to the car. You could make it whatever you want, I think.
Well, he's probably changed it back now because he finally figured it out. It took him a month to figure out what I changed it to. I changed his password to his favorite movie, Chinatown, but he couldn't figure it out. He took like a month to figure that out. He thought it was like, but what's the name of that of the guy who asked the question?
Well, I'll tag you in it, and because I can't read it on the air, I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It's burned. Okay. It has the word burned in the Twitter handle.
Well, burned. I didn't think of it. You did. Kudos to you. I'm mad I didn't think of it first.
John is getting Mastros 5 days a week. He's just getting cream of the crop bottles of wine delivered to his door.
Screaming Eagle and Mastros to the front door every single night.
By the way, Slee, the word you're looking for is Nobu.
Yes.
Oh yeah. That
would
is
be
your
what I would
that
charge
is your
him.
place.
805 Raider. Yo, Ireland, if you had to pick one of your radio co-hosts to travel across the country in an RV, Mason or Michael Thompson?
Michael. Michael's the most interesting guy in America. But I've often said this, the funnest part of my Laker job is that I get to do it with him. Michael is a great guy. He's super eccentric. He's a little out there, but I like that. He's a little bit weird. And then, again, with Mason, you have to manage his moods. So Michael's always in a good mood. That's an easy one. I would go with Michael.
All right, here's another one.
He's got the travel experience with him already, right?
Yeah,
They're already
he
traveling
knows.
everywhere together.
Yeah, but RV is a little different than chartered aircraft. That's a slightly different traveling. So you guys are sleeping in the RV and everything else, John. It may be a little bit of a different ride.
Yeah, that's okay. The only thing we would argue over is the temperature of the RV. Michael keeps his hotel room at about 85 degrees, and I'm at about 65. So we'd have to meet in the middle, I think.
Michael has got a tropical environment in his hotel room.
Do you have a favorite dad phrase? For instance, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Hashtag Ask Ireland.
Okay, do I have a dad phrase? Well, the one my parents used to use on me, I hear myself using it on Jack now, is he'll say, hey, can I go do blank? And I'll say, no, that's a terrible idea. And he'll go, but all these guys are doing it. And my dad used to say, if they all jumped off a cliff, would you do it? And when I repeated it, I went, oh, God, I've become my dad. I'm like that guy in the commercial, Rick. I've become my parents. So that's the one that pops into my head.
Do you do this one too? Because I found, and I as it comes out of my mouth, I hate it, but I do it anyway. Because it's my house and I said so. Have you tried that one yet?
No, but in your honor, I'll break it out this week.
It's oddly satisfying, and it's also the world's worst answer, but it does at least end the argument for a few seconds.
Because I said so.
All right, John, I got one for you.
That's great.
I got one for you. And there's obviously no wrong answer here, but in your position and just legendary of all legendary, you could spend a day with Vin Scully or Chick Hearn. Who are you spending your day with?
Chick, but it's close. I mean, Vin is the all-time great storyteller. I worship the altar of Chick Hearn. He's the best basketball announcer who ever lived. I tell people Slee all the time. If you're a Laker fan, a basketball fan, if you're fans of Michael and I, if you want to hear what it sounds like, what radio play-by-play perfection sounds like, particularly if you're younger and you've never heard Chick do a game, just go into YouTube and type Chick Hearn into the search window. And if you're anything like me, you'll be there for 4 hours because there's just all these great calls that Chick had. There'll never be another one. It's almost impossible, Slee, for me to describe how good Chick was as an announcer without having you go listen to him first. It blows me away that Chick's last game was in 2002, 20 years ago. Wow. So really, if you're under the age of 27, 28, you probably never have heard Chick do a game.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor, go on YouTube, type Chick Hearn into the search window, and you'll go, oh my God, it's like this guy was created by God to announce basketball. He's unbelievable. He really is. And again, it's hard for me to sell this without you guys hearing it, but for you younger people, if you're under the age of 30 and you didn't get to hear Chick call games, he's the best basketball announcer who ever lived, and it's not close.
That's a great answer. All right, two quick ones here, John. This one is from Shane, and Shane writes, what is the worst fantasy football punishment you've ever seen for the loser of a league? Standing on a street corner with a sign, play golf in a dress. I need some new, fresh ideas for our league to vote on. Hashtag Ask Ireland.
So there's this league that John Hamm, the actor, was in. And I think Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Simmons might have been in it too. And this is so it's a 12-team league. And this isn't exactly a punishment, but it's a tweak that I wish we would do to our league because it's so infuriating. It's a 12-team league. They invite 13 people to the draft. Then they take one name out of a hat. And if your name comes up, you're out of the league for a year.
Ooh.
So you would prepare, you do all your homework, you'd be ready. You know what your draft position is. Everything's all set.
For
and
nothing.
then if your name is after that, you're completely booted. And they videotape it. And the one I saw, John Hamm's name came out of the hat, and he was so pissed. You could tell that he had gone out of his way to, like, free up his schedule, and he was in between gigs, and he gets to the draft. He's really excited to see everybody, and they pull his name out of the hat. And without saying a word, he just storms out of the room.
Awesome. All right, one more quick one here before we let you go. Little Ask Ireland today.
Yeah.
Since you like money dares, how much would it take for you to have dinner in bed for a year like Mason?
Wow, that is a good question. I would be miserable because I'm kind of a germaphobe and a neat freak. So if I would spill anything, I would immediately have to throw the sheets into the wash. For a year,
10
I'm not
grand.
doing that for anything less than no, more than that. I'm
100.
thinking $500,000.
Oh.
$500,000.
Pay the man.
$500,000. I will eat dinner in bed every night for a year, and then as soon as that dare is over, I will take the $500,000 and look for a new wife because Lisa would have divorced me.
And burn your bed
the
to the
mattress.
ground. Burn the sheets and the bed to the ground.
And remarried somebody who didn't eat dinner in bed every day for a year.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
All right, boys. See you in a couple hours.
You got it. The answer on Chick was great. I've never thought of it like that. It's been 20 years.
Yeah,
that if you're 30 years old, you probably never heard him call a game. That's really interesting to think about it quite like that. All right, everybody in baseball has lost their damn minds except for the Dodgers. That's coming up next. It's Travis Sliwa, 710 ESPN. We are here with Chef Isaac Flores, one of my best guys, of course, from Meat District. We're getting ready for the ultimate grilling experience. You're not going to believe this prize package I'm going to tell you about in a second. The 100% Angus Beef Meat District Butcher Crafted Burgers. Unbelievable. Here's what you want to do. GrillingLikeAChamp.com. That's where you want to go. You're going to want to enter a chance to win. Listen to this prize package. We're talking burgers, a new cooler, a soundbox speaker, an Epson HD projector, and an ultimate VIP experience at the Rams on Christmas Day. You're talking about on the field with passes. You're talking about a VIP experience, 2 custom-made jerseys, a VIP tailgate party. You got to go to GrillingLikeAChamp.com to get in on this.
Burgers are ready.
All right. Oh, we got a little caramelized onions going here.
I always forget, you need one of these. You need one of those.
All right. Cheers.
I'm going to...
Here you go.
Salute.
Salute. And it's a double. Just saying, he knows what I'm about. Well done, Chef.
Thank you very much.
GrillingLikeAChamp.com. Get in on it.
It is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Just Blaze. Oh, baby.
How much for you, Berg, to eat in bed for a year?
Oh man, Ireland's 500,000 is a lot.
Oh, I'd do it for way less.
I would do it for way less too, but
You like $300.
I don't like it. I don't like eating in bed. You like eating in bed?
No, no.
It's terrible. It's terrifying.
I only eat ribs in bed.
No, well,
Thought ramen was your meal of choice in bread. That's been your go-to every other time.
Mason said he eats
lamb
a porterhouse.
Tomahawk ribeye with the
Ooh,
bone.
a good lamb shank sounds good right now.
Delicious.
It's like
really
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where all the grandparents all eat and sleep and live in one bed and front to back, and it's gross.
Yeah, it's real gross.
Like, give me a couple grand.
I'm with you on the
For a
bed thing.
year
I can't
for
do the bed thing.
$2,000?
No, I need more than like 10 grand. I think
That's
when you
300
started with 10
So
grand.
every meal
Actually,
or just dinner?
Just dinner. You can go out Monday, breakfast and lunch.
12 grand on the dot, 1,000 per month.
Greg, that's eating dinner in bed 365 days in a row.
I mean, I'll do it.
For how much? Say it again.
He said
a grand
12.
a year.
He said 12,000. I bet. I'm not
A
kidding
grand a
you.
month?
I bet you.
No, you got to do like 12 a month.
Crowdfund that. and make
12 grand a month?
Yeah, do 12 a month. Then you can
That's-
kinda,
I mean,
you
I
don't
could
have
use
to,
the cash.
12 a month.
You're closer.
We're talking
It's-
about.
It's
12 a
got to
month.
be six figures if it's a dime,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, Greg, every
meal.
dinner.
Well, by the way, how much does your dinner change of what you're going to eat? I'm eating PB and J's and popcorn.
I need something that's crumbless. Jell-O.
Yeah, popcorn's not a good one. You
Jell-O.
get crumbs everywhere, but at least it's not like, soy sauce spraying everywhere.
You'd have to be something that has no crumbs, no sauces, no crumbs,
No
no
soups,
liquids, no soups.
nothing.
Right, that's like sushi. Give me sushi every single night.
The little
I think
pieces
I can
of
make it
rice
happen.
are going
Nah,
everywhere.
they're not though.
It's
Like,
not even the rice.
If you
It's
don't
the
know
soy
how to
sauce.
eat
You get the
sushi,
soy
it's going
sauce a
everywhere.
little out.
Well,
and
you don't even
all of a
need the
sudden
soy
it's
sauce.
everywhere.
I'm not saying it's going to look like a rice grenade went off. All I'm saying is that there would be little. You can't eat sushi, and a grain of rice or two is going to fall off into your bed. Now you're sleeping in sushi.
You're just not eating sushi right.
No,
That's what it sounds like.
Yes, I am. Trust me. I'm thinking Jell-O.
expert.
Hey, and by the
glass
way,
of water. Maybe you lose a bunch of weight that you never eat dinner for a whole year.
can I take? You're still.
Yeah, you're done at like 4.
Right.
Look, I really enjoyed Ask Ireland. That was really fun. I think there's just one thing that he said that I just don't agree with.
That you disagree
I
with?
totally
Okay, let me
disagree with.
guess which one it is.
Yes, go
is
ahead.
it the? It's not going to be the advice when he tells his son that he's basically turning into his dad. It's not going to be that one.
Real
No,
quickly, have you said that to Riley? That it's my house. That
No.
because it's my house and because I said so.
Yeah, I paid for it.
Yes, another great one.
Right. I told her the other day that she looked like a homeless person. I felt like, God, I'm not
That's
old now.
mean.
Well, she had these big
Strong.
giant. It was a whole thing.
Does one stand out that he's going to call that he'd call him out on?
I'm curious.
You're curious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been working with John for 7 years, and we get along really well off the air. He talks about it all the time. Really well off the air. On the air, we have a bit of a rivalry.
A rivalry.
A rivalry.
Okay.
Yes. There is 0% chance in this world that he is 99% of the time happy.
See, is anybody
0%?
Okay, what's the?
He hasn't been happy with me 3% of the time. In the 7 years.
Okay, wait, can he be not happy with you but
France,
still get
Morocco
along with
just
everybody
started,
else?
And it's already
France
1-0.
already scored. It's been
Yeah, this
5
is gonna
minutes.
be
Yeah, Greg,
ugly.
I'm surprised you haven't already told us all the things about France and Morocco. You're the
what a
soccer guy.
beautiful-
This is going to be
beautiful
ugly.
goal.
By the
Well,
way,
okay, you want something?
if
You want a little
Morocco
tidbit?
wins,
Yeah.
Mexico back in.
We have to go through the whole standings. But no, that's the first goal that Morocco has given up that wasn't from them.
And an own goal.
An own goal.
Wow.
What else? What other
That's it.
soccer terminology do you want to know?
Yeah. I mean, what else you got? What is the back line called?
The back line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The last line.
But there's zero chance that Ireland is 99% of the time.
Nobody is. Nobody
No.
is. I think that was more of a colloquialism than
Sure.
it was a scientific data point.
But
I think
Amanda-
it's just I'm usually in a good mood. Trav, you're usually in a good mood. We'll just go with that.
He said
Yeah.
Mace is 50%. Is that accurate?
It might be lower.
Okay.
Mason is one of those dudes that he hates every single show. It could be a really, really good show, and after the show, he'll be like, that sucked. I was awful. Like, what do you mean? That was one of the best shows we've ever done.
What if you just say, well, you were awful, but the rest of it was great?
It's all
Hit
him,
with
though.
that.
No, John was absolutely right about
I
that.
thought
He's
John
not
was
happy.
great. The producer, Jorge was spot on.
Oh, he was dropping stuff left and right. We
Everything
were
was
coming in with stuff.
tight. You were totally off.
You were a mess.
Yeah.
Oh, then it'll just spiral.
It's like
All
you
right,
do
so,
when somebody
yeah,
cooks you some. I don't think I did the gravy. You're right. It's not very good. Just take it off because then all they want you to do is say, "Yeah, that was terrific. I loved it. I wouldn't change a thing."
I don't think that's the best meal I
That
cooked.
steak
No, it
overcooked?
wasn't.
Yeah, a little
wasn't.
bit. It was kind of dry. What did you get that at the 7-Eleven?
99%. Yeah, it's
99.
impossible.
No, I mean,
no,
look,
it's possible.
Like even if he was going a little bit overboard. We're talking about like 85%.
Well, he was
still
comparing.
way too high.
He was giving him and Trav have very similar personalities. That's where he was going with.
Sure.
Which that part I understand.
But no, Travis, I could see being like 85% of the time happy unless he's talking to his neighbors.
You guys, you're misinterpreting my neighbors. I'm not in a bad mood with my neighbors. I just don't want to talk to them.
Right.
There's
I
a
could
difference
tell.
between there's
Yeah.
one thing to being a bad neighbor. I'm the neighbor that nobody knows. Like if they said, "Hey, is Trav a good or a bad neighbor?" Like, I don't even know.
Never heard of him.
You're a hermit. You don't actually exist in
my,
their lives.
my yard is clean. My house is well maintained. And
Which,
that's
by the
all
way,
that you-
that's-
I take my trash cans in on time.
Can I tell you something? That's not a bad neighbor.
I don't think so
I'm
either.
okay with
That's
that
actually a
neighbor.
good neighbor. Great
I'll
neighbor.
take
I think so,
that
too.
neighbor over
Hey, neighbor.
the guy that everybody knows, or the woman everybody knows, where it's like,
The
oh, her
tiki,
again, or
bar in the front yard.
the tiki bar. It's kind of grown on a few of us here.
It's come around a little bit. It's true.
I just never
Speaking
realized.
of, I think it just fact cap yesterday or the day before, you were talking about holiday inflatables in the front
Yes.
yard. We have new neighbors we're like 3 houses in on the corner. The
Okay.
people on the corner across the street. They bought the house not that long ago. I don't know them.
What's
Big
their
surprise.
interest rate?
I have no idea. But they put up an elf inflatable, not like like Will Ferrell inflatable.
Oh, that's cool.
From Elf, right? And it's awesome, and it's like life size. It's like 6 feet tall. I really want to steal it and put it in my yard as a joke, right? Because and just like move it one night. But I don't know these people at all. It could be drastically
It's not a good idea.
misinterpreted.
No, it's not
No,
your best
no.
idea.
It's a great idea. First of all, it's a
kind of
fantastic idea.
If they
But
have that, it means they have a sense of humor.
Trav is not going to his neighbor's
Oh,
house.
no,
Just unplug it, put it in front of my house. It'd be pretty funny.
You don't
be
even
amazing.
unplug it. You
Go
have
out
an
at 2 o'clock
extension
in the
cord
morning.
running, so it's their electricity.
Right? Yeah, they have to pay for the fan.
No, here's the problem with it. I think it's a fantastic idea, and you should absolutely do it. However, this goes against everything that I know about you.
I
now.
know.
You're not a prank guy.
But I really want that just for a day or
just
two.
that one thing. You're okay with pranks where it helps you, but you're not okay with pranks
nobody's
against
harmed.
you.
Nobody's frightened by it. Nobody. It's just.
Yeah,
I
our
just
prank
moved
was
it across
brutal.
the street.
Our prank was you're hiding in the
back
back of his
of my
car for an hour.
I'm almost home.
Without coming up and saying anything. It would be so good.
Hold on. Oh shoot! I think that was the Morocco head coach. We're gonna need to run that back because I think if Slee grew a beard, you would be the Morocco head coach.
It's almost me. It's almost me.
That guy looked a lot like you.
I wish
only
I
he
had
a
his
very
success.
dark beard. We're gonna need to find that guy. Somebody Google image.
I got him. I'm bringing him up.
Am I wrong?
He's still like
I need
he's
to
got
see-
like
he's bald with a beard.
5, 8, 10 years on me. He does.
Well, that doesn't make a difference.
He's got a little bit.
A little bit. He's a little older than you, but nothing crazy.
I would. Let's switch jobs. He's got to be running that country right now. They're in the freaking Final Four.
Yeah,
Well,
they've already
not-
given up a goal.
Not for much longer.
Yeah, seriously. This is ridiculous. He should be
Still-
fired for
Still
that.
bothers me that Morocco is MAR along the way.
I don't get it either. We talked
how they-
about
Well,
this.
it's in
Somebody
French.
explained it.
It's in
Yeah,
It's in
somebody explained
French.
it.
It's
in
an
French.
A in French. But
It's why Spain is ESP for España. It's how they call themselves.
But that's
Stop-
Spanish.
Emily, I'm going to need you to stop making logical, impactful points. It doesn't help me at all.
Okay.
Morocco-
Sorry, yeah,
Morocco-
it's terrible.
Takes
Morocco
away his
is-
argument.
is an African country. Spain is a Spanish country, so España makes sense. But Morocco is not a French country.
It was settled by the French.
think it was-
And I
It's
believe
settled
that
by
they
the French.
do
I don't
speak
know
French.
geography.
But okay, Greg.
Yeah,
I don't know if
hey.
I've ever seen anyone give up faster.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I didn't give up
sorry,
the other
Greg.
day, so I had to give up here.
I was gonna say, be careful. You aborted mission so quick that I was with you. I was like, I don't even know where you're going.
I also-
Abort.
The other day, he not only didn't give up, he started making my points for me. It was
I
like
gave
one
up the
of
next
the
day.
weirdest
I
thing
gave up
about
the next day.
He hated the college football expansion because he wanted
I
more
like the
teams
idea of
in,
more
and then I
teams.
said, "Well, these are good games." Because I don't like any of these games.
Yeah,
we
so
should
I'm out.
have fewer teams in.
8 teams sounds about right. 6
Six-
teams.
You were all in.
6 teams.
Six-
I
You were all in.
was all in on 12 until you started naming me the teams in the actual tournament. Kansas State, Tulane. No, I'm out.
How about this? So this goes back to another one of the Ask Irelands about what's a good fantasy football punishment. This would be hardcore. So John in Fullerton says, I proposed this to our league commish, but no one voted to do it. The loser has to get a Mark Davis haircut for a year.
Oh God,
That's a long time.
That's
a year.
rough.
You should do like 2 weeks. 2 weeks is awkward enough where everybody's gonna be like, "What the hell is wrong with
Even
this
if
guy?"
you have to get a Mark Davis haircut, then you can grow it. You have to leave it for 2 weeks, but then you can do whatever you want. Because if you had a He-Man haircut for even 2 weeks, people would be like, "So what's going on with you? Like, why? What's going on up there?"
very easy to do though. Very cheap. Like
Yeah.
you don't even have to go to a
I'll
barber
do
for
it
it.
myself.
You put a bowl on your head, just cut around. You're done.
Yeah, but you need like when you're doing construction, you do the chalk line where you snap the chalk line and it makes a perfectly straight line.
Yeah.
You ever done that? You'd have to do it right to make the bangs on the Mark Davis haircut.
You also
it's
need
perfectly
hair.
like a laser level.
Also need hair.
He's just
so good.
spot on.
I mean, that's actually a great punishment.
It's
It's brutal, but it's a great one.
It's great right up until you're the guy that finishes last. Then it's
Why do you
not
think
so
I don't
great.
do this anymore? I don't
Yeah.
do fantasy
You play-
sports.
you
anymore.
don't?
No,
No.
none.
Taylor, you
Zero.
didn't think I knew what a chalk line was, did you?
No, I'm
impressed.
just laughing at that comparison. That's pretty spot on, Trav.
It's very level. That's not. They're not eyeballing that. Okay? There's no way.
Do you think he
that
looks in
that's
the mirror
freehand.
afterwards and goes, "Look, there's like one hair that's just a little bit
I-
too low. You
I
gotta
don't-
get it back in there."
I'm not quite sure what's going on
Big
there.
E
the
says-
magnifying glass going back and forth on the
I feel like James Bond where the laser's cutting the table in half and it's about to cut
go up the
and
middle
they
of his
just-
body.
They've modified it so it doesn't burn the skin. It just cuts the hair.
Just gets the hair.
It's perfectly
Big
level.
E says Trav won't talk to any of his neighbors, but he wants to steal their Christmas decorations as a joke.
Please do it.
Not
Going over
steal
well.
it, borrow it for a night or two.
I mean, he's obviously going to know that it was you that did it, so it's totally
okay,
fine.
So it's the only one on the block.
Or take it and move it to a different house.
We have an inflatable in our yard, right? We have Fat Santa in our yard.
Yeah.
If I just put Elf right next to it, they at half a second they go, well, did they have that before? Like it would. I don't think it'd be. Hey, that's my Elf, right? Can I have that back? I think it would take a day or two
I don't
for
know.
them to unpack.
Well, they'd
it.
also
refuse to talk
question-
to me, but you're taking my elf.
They'd also question that somebody would actually really do that.
Right.
Impossible that neighbor
Oh,
would
please
come
do
to
this.
our house.
pretty funny.
I want
We'll
you to do
take
it
it.
so badly.
It's a
now.
life size.
If I
Will
thought
Ferrell Elf, it's awesome.
If I thought you would actually do it, I think I'd play more into it. I just don't think Trav would. Can you actually see
Oh,
yourself
I could.
doing
If
it?
I asked Bobby to do it, he'd do it in 3 seconds.
But how funny is that? You were
I'll
going
drive
to Bob.
down there and do it for
Oh,
you.
I'm not gonna. I don't. Hell, this is.
You set the whole
This
thing
is
up as in you're doing
85%
it.
of the reason you have children is to have them do things for you. Take out the trash, rebag.
Next thing you know is Bobby's
Come on,
arrested.
It's not for. It's
With
a
no shoes on.
$12 inflatable elf.
Not $12. But okay, I have two things, guys. One, I posted the Moroccan coach in the Travis Sliwa community. If you guys want to
pretty
look at that
close.
and see if it looks like Alan Sliwa. Two, we
It's your
got
twins, Lee.
we have a
Tony.
we have a tweet from Tim in the OC who says Lakers talk is nice and all, but we need to get Emily Hebel having to pay for groceries for a complete stranger. That's why people come to the show. So I will tell this story on the other side because it is an interesting,
Okay. All right.
one.
Yes, it does look like you, Sliwa.
All right.
If
Yeah,
you just had a thin
there's a little
beard,
bit of that.
Absolutely.
If I'm going to give myself a little credit, which I usually hate to do, I usually
No.
like to not point out
No.
things. I'm very good at the this guy looks like that guy game. I'm pretty good at that. And
It's your lane.
Al, you should get a Morocco soccer jersey.
I'm
and
down for
go
that.
start signing autographs out at LA Live.
I'm down to go
Took
to
the
Morocco.
Concorde back from Doha.
Can I please go to Morocco? Somebody want to send me there?
Travis Lee at 710 ESPN.
broken hearts go, Slee. Anyway, Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday continues now.
Your favorite Whitney Houston song that's not this one?
What was a movie, Bodyguard, where she had...
And I...
That's a great
Sounded
one.
a little different when she...
I don't know. It sounded exactly like that.
I thought Taylor played it.
Right, exactly.
I thought that's what it was.
Travis, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to say that's an original Dolly Parton.
It is.
Oh, is it really?
She originally sang it, wrote it, gave it to Whitney, and now that's like the most money, or some of the most money that Dolly has made in her life is because of that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, big Dolly fan.
I always get
Everybody likes Dolly. Dolly's like one of those people that everybody loves.
Yeah, you can't really
no
hate
one
Dolly.
dislikes Dolly Parton.
her.
Do
you ever get disappointed when you find out that that's a track that person didn't come up with?
Did that just happen to you?
That just happened. I had no idea that
Yeah, but
was
at least
a
it's
Dolly
Dolly
Parton.
It's not like it was, I don't know.
No, you're not wrong on that, but I'm saying I had no idea that was her. So, like, sometimes I'll use hip-hop as an example. You'll hear a beat, and you're like, 10 years later, you'll find out, yeah, that was just a song or a beat that was actually taken from the 50s in this song.
Yeah,
I'm like, I had
sampled
no
it.
idea.
Yeah, so like Taylor Swift has written songs like Rihanna. Like there's things that like, or in Calvin Harris, things like that. Like there are people like Taylor Swift, people like Dolly Parton that write songs for other people.
Taylor
and they get known for other
Swift
stuff.
finds her way.
I'm
into
just
the
saying it just happened to happen.
And people like Jack Antonoff that write for Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no, actually,
Celine.
she writes every single one of her songs. Jack writes with her,
You
but
just
okay.
offended
Okay, wait.
someone.
I'm just saying, Taylor.
Taylor
You got
just
some
stepped in
insider
it.
there? I don't think he stepped into anything. I want to know.
Jack
Is
writes with Taylor. Taylor is the principal writer.
She
on
has
all the songs.
co-writers.
Yeah, she does occasionally have co-writers.
From what I understand, Jack writes more than Taylor.
Oh my god,
You know
guys, this is
You know what this is
No.
going
That's that's how I understand.
This is going to be like the wine fight shirt. This is going to escalate into real, genuine hostility.
Taylor knows a lot about music.
I'm a
I know-
lover.
I know a lot about Taylor Swift.
Here is my question, and this has nothing to do with our current conversation. Why does Taylor Swift not write any of her songs? I want to know that. I want you to tell me that right now.
See, the best part about this is she's trying very hard not to react to that. That she's
gonna throw her coffee.
literally biting her lip not to come through the window
Just saying,
at you.
you should write your own music. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
By the way,
She's litigious, guys.
Graham is back there. I didn't
Yep.
know Graham was going to be here. He's been to two
Graham,
Laker games.
Oh, he's right in the
Two
oh,
Laker
there you-
games,
oh, yeah,
bro.
yeah.
2 Laker games.
Graham, you're not allowed back at Laker games.
Pacers
and 2
and
Rams
Celtics.
games.
Well,
Both
the
Rams.
Rams,
I
have
know.
lost all their games, so he's not responsible for that.
Lakers are 11-16, so it's not like they're
Yeah, but
21-7.
They should be 13-14 if he would have stayed away. 13-14 doesn't sound so bad.
Damn it,
You
Graham.
can live with 13-14. One quick tweet here. This
Tommy,
is from
control your promotions
your
and marketing.
staff. Get a grip on your staff, Lamb. Do better. Positively Black tweets.
on your staff,
If you can go back to the Vegas strip club and get taken to the cleaners, who would you take with you, Trav or Slee? That's an Ask Ireland that came
Oh,
in
that's
late.
easy.
So I'm going to turn it on you. Would you
Yeah.
rather take Ireland or me to that environment?
Well, I think both of us are going to say you because we've already gone together. We both look like idiots together. We both had no idea what was going. You would have been like,
I would have
yes,
saved
Alan.
you guys, I would have saved you
Yeah.
guys hundreds of dollars.
No, Alan, this is not
you
the
don't
moment.
want to buy her a drink. You don't. Do not go get money from that ATM.
You do not get between me and Portia. We're having a lovely conversation.
She really doesn't like you guys. Let's just keep it moving. She's trying to earn a living. Just let her do her thing with someone else.
Can I give you an example? If you're sitting there with John, John gets up. Hey, Trav, I'm going to go run to the ATM real quick. John,
here, sit down.
come take a seat.
I have a little
please.
bit of money.
Come
I'll
take a
take care
seat.
of this. You can make it right in the morning.
No one's going to that ATM.
The ATM with an 86% surcharge on your money. Yeah, I would.
This ATM actually gives you a HELOC. If you need to get,
would have hooked you guys up. You would have. Haven't you guys spent $600? 4 because Mason and I each kicked in $100 to make it right.
Yeah.
So, I would have
No, I
saved
think
you guys
Mace gave
$400.
$200.
Oh, I think you're right. I think Mace did.
Yeah.
Well, I would have saved you $100. How about that? You would have come home with a little bit more money in your pocket. All right, here's what's gone on in Major League Baseball over the last couple of weeks. Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo is a very nice Major League Baseball player, but he got 8 years, $162 million. Edwin Diaz, 5 years, $102 million. And here's where we go off the rails.
Yep.
Bogarts, 11 years, $280 million. DeGrom, 5 years, $185. Verlander, by the way, this is the best deal on the board. Verlander, 2 years, $86.5 million. Aaron Judge, 9 years, $360. Trey Turner, 11 years, $300. And then yesterday, Carlos Correa signs with the Giants, 13 years, $350 million, full no trade, no opt-outs.
Yeah.
When did we start signing 40-year-old shortstops to $30 million a year contract? The only deal on there that I'm like that I wish the Dodgers would have maybe have done is the Verlander one. The other ones are like, you guys go ahead and burn your money on injured players and guys that are going to be old very, very quickly, playing positions where athletic ability, athleticism, shortstop is an incredibly important component of what you do. These are all bad deals, and maybe none worse than the Bogarts deal.
What contract started this? Of these contracts,
Turner, right?
You think
I
Trey?
guess, for the position players.
But was Trey? Was it expect? I thought it was expected he'll get around 300.
Yes.
So
I thought you were talking about this offseason. You're talking like general in the universe?
No, what I'm saying, this offseason,
yeah,
the numbers are crazy.
Yes.
The numbers are stupid.
But it's not even the numbers. It's the term.
Mm-hmm.
The term is the part that Carlos Correa for 13 years is asinine. Xander Bogaerts, for him to sign a 31-year-old shortstop signing an 11-year deal,
yeah,
that's crazy talk.
Okay, can I ask you a question? If you're a franchise like the Padres, use Padres as an example, and would you say, okay, hey, we're just not going to do this? Or do you think for the Padres in this kind of, it's so stupid for me to say short term because it's an 11-year contract, so it's impossible to say short term. But if you're the Padres, do you say, would you do it if you're the Padres?
No, because I already have Machado, I already have Soto, I already have Tatis. I've already got a bunch of big bats in my lineup that I don't know if I need another big bat to get over the hump. And that deal will be a bad deal much sooner than later.
Okay, so I think what it is with those, and I think this is the same thing with the Giants, all right? And obviously this is all NL West. It's relating to the Dodgers. These squads are better than they were yesterday or 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
Dodgers have not made a move yet. But I think there were reports out there that the Padres were going after Trey Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen. There are reports out there that the Padres were going after Aaron Judge. Didn't happen. There are reports out there that the Giants had made an offer to Aaron Judge. A lot of this, I think, also has to do with, you have X amount of dollars that you're already prepared to spend, and you weren't able to spend it on your top. This is if we can go get anybody, we want that guy. And then it's like, all right, now we're going to go after the next guy. And then it was like, all right, we're going to go after the next guy. That's really what happened to the Padres. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what happened to the Giants as well. Giants did not want to walk away from this offseason saying they thought they had a legit shot at Aaron Judge. And Correa's the one that now gets the bag. I'm not justifying anything because I think if there's one thing, I'm so curious about the Dodgers because, and we could do this a little bit later. I actually really like to get your thought. If the Dodgers stay with the same team that they have right now, where are they in the NL? Where are they in the NL West? It's crazy the money being spent. And I think a lot of these fan bases are like, yeah, we're okay with that. But the front offices.
It better hit, and it better hit soon. Because it has to hit
Can I tell you something about the Giants?
Can I
tell you something about the Giants? Are they still not going to be third place in the NL West?
Maybe not. I don't know. These things always depend on pitching. Like all of baseball, we could spend all this money everywhere else. If you don't pitch well, it doesn't matter, right? The Padres have a window that's open, but it's only going to be open for a handful of years. It's not going to be open for 11. The Carlos Correa window will not be open for 13 years. The Aaron Judge window, the Yankees are a little different because they have money to burn. But it's funny you were saying that, well, okay, I didn't get my first choice. I'll go to my second choice. Didn't get my second choice. I'll go to my third choice. I don't want to say a buddy of mine, but a friendly acquaintance of mine, this happened a long time ago, put a bid in on a house. He really wanted this house, and he went in heavy and thought that he was going to get
Trying to get it.
Trying to get it, right? Trying to get it. Didn't get it. Somebody else came in heavier along the way. And he was so bummed out that he didn't get it that he's like, well, I got to buy something. And he went and bought a ridiculously expensive car. He wasn't even looking for a car. He just didn't get the house that he wanted, so he went and bought this very, very expensive car. 6 months after he had the car, this is the worst decision I ever made in my life. I don't even want this thing. I don't even like it. It was this, I didn't get what I wanted, so I bought the next most expensive thing on the list. That's what a lot of this feels like, that you didn't even buy the thing that you necessarily needed. Like, I get Verlander makes sense to me. DeGrom injury is kind of makes sense to me. That the Dodgers are staying away from this makes me feel really good.
Even
about the
Philly,
Dodgers.
I think the Trey Turner deal is. I think Trey Turner's a big deal for them.
Position players on there,
Yeah.
I think he's the best bet.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that, but I'm not buying a car because I didn't get the house, even though he did.
I've never heard that.
It was
where somebody makes that.
I'll tell you who it was during the break, because you're going to go, yes, it happened. It's coming up next. It's Travis Sliwa. Factor Cap right around the corner. 7.
Travis and Sliwa, we're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
no, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I just to clear some things up. Taylor Swift has solely written 30% of her songs. She has also written on every single one of her songs. Her entirety of her album Speak Now is solely written by Taylor Swift. Of pop singers, that is an impressive resume of the amount of things that are written solely by her.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Taylor's fault.
This is your fault. No, it's more
saying it's up
Taylor.
for question.
You said she wrote her whole new album?
Taylor just
Speak
was
Now.
kind of
Oh,
offering
Speak Now.
facts and then you just came off the top
Well,
rope.
and like, how do we know that this is factual? Is it?
I'm just a bear for accuracy.
Is it Taylor Swift who set? Is it on ESPN stats and
She's
info?
batting 300.
Yeah, see, he's got it up on there.
I need it on there.
Sorry, when you write 13 albums, it's hard to write every single song. Anyway,
What do you
gotta move on. Gotta move on. Okay, so
I can only go through my phone for so long before we're gonna have to say something.
Okay, so Carlos Correa, we just talked about going to the Giants, huge deal, crazy deal. So we know that he will now come to the Dodgers. How many times a year, Travis? Do you know?
I did the math. It's 14 times a year, and he's signed for 13 years. So that comes out to a grand total of, and I just hit the wrong button. Stand by. 182 times.
Right. All right.
Over the course of this, he'll play
Damn, that's
182
healthy.
Dodger games as a member of the Giants.
So-
At least. It could be playoffs, too.
We know from the past what happens when Carlos Correa comes up to bat. Hate. So, but you are anti-boo. Travis, fact or cap?
Fact. I am only boo in one particular category, and it's very specific. Like, I loathe Carlos Correa. I hope that he never gets another hit. I hope that he never wins another game, but I'm not going to waste my energy or my emotional equity booing him. The one thing I do boo is effort. If you are a guy that's out there just kind of going through the motions and not trying and just phoning it in, and that would also qualify as you show up drastically out of shape, right? And not because you were hurt or something. You just decided you're going to go on the buffet circuit season.
James Harden.
James Harden is a good example of that. Those are the two things that I think are worthy of, you got to be kidding me, lack of effort and being out of shape.
So, in fact, I'm anti-boo. I really actually do not know the last time I booed. Maybe after a bad movie. I just stood up and I just started booing.
In the
Throw your
theater where no one
jujubes at the
who worked
screen.
on the movie is there.
I'm in the front, too.
Yeah, that is another Sliwa
All
thing
right,
that I
wait,
need to
give me a
remember.
second. But I will say this. Dirty plays. Like if somebody is... We talked about this. Jose... why am I forgetting the name? Alvarado. Yeah, the dude from the Pelicans. Chris Paul... If I'm a Pelicans fan and I see Chris Paul give one of my guys just an elbow under the chin, that's enough to get me up like, what the F was that? Did anybody else just see that? That's probably the most... I'll react the most to somebody being dirty.
Taylor?
Cap, but I don't boo players. I boo refs and their calls. Occasionally.
Oh, you're up a lot then.
Yeah.
The NBA.
There's some bad calls. Yeah.
The
I'll boo that.
NBA is of the majors, and I don't know hockey well enough to offer an opinion on it, but of baseball, basketball, and football, the NBA refs seem to be worse at their jobs than the other two guys. The baseball umpires are actually remarkably good at what they do. Football, right? There's just so much going on in a football game.
They take so long in football. I mean, they better get it right.
Right. The basketball ones are like, wait, what? That?
Okay.
Huh?
Can I tell you the most frustrating thing to watch? And I know, however you want to put the pro sports, I know it's college. College basketball refereeing, I can't get to a game. I'm like, what you called there, you didn't call there. It's like so all over the
College
place.
football referees are like that too.
Yeah.
They're dreadful.
Just
College
like
basketball, bad referees, bad play, low scoring, no one can shoot. Awesome.
Yeah, why don't we all watch all the
Let's
time?
go.
This guy with 2 thumbs up. I've seen that.
All right, so I'm going to have you guys suspend reality for a second. Pretend that this is something that someone would want. So you would say no if someone in your home wanted a snake. So, again, they come to you. This is all they want for Christmas. They really, really want a snake.
A python.
Alan, fact or cap?